Well, the 21st of April 2022. Welcome to News BT on Metro TV or live from the Ikea Bwahima studio at North Ridge. I am a new form of follow us on Metro TV Ghana on Facebook or Metro TV_GH on Twitter and Instagram. Let's take a look at the headlines. Are rife on the labor front as civil and local government staff demands payment or threaten strike over non-payment of their neutrality allowance, while the TUC is demanding increment in their salaries. National Union of Ghana Students and the Students Representative Council KNUST mobilized funds to pay fees for 3,000 out of 6,000 students deferred by the university for defaulting in fee payment. And on the foreign front, Islamic State in the West African province armed group claim responsibility for an explosion that is said to have killed or injured 30 people at the marketplace. My name is Ania Fwampofo. Now the stories in detail. Students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have been deferred by the school's payment system and are being urged to make a 70% required payment in order for them to for the deferment to be reversed. Now, this according to the Students Representative Council, who issued a release to that effect.
The statement from the Public Relations Office of the Students Representative Council of KNUST said it had been working around the clock within the past 24 hours to reach an agreement with management of the university on how best to address the deferment of some 6,000 students who had not paid their fees. It noted that the advocacy yielded positive results and that students were encouraged to settle their fees to ensure a reversal of their deferment. To this effect, the SRC says it has set up a help desk at the Office of the Dean of Students to address three main issues: students who paid immediately after the deadline or after receiving messages of deferral. The 2,380 beneficiaries of the SRC KBN and KNUST bursary whose stipends meet the 70% threshold, and any other student who received messages of deferment out of a technical hitch but had already paid their fees before the deadline. Earlier, the Speaker of the Students' Parliament, Shamuna Suleiman Bakani, called on the university's authority to be lenient on the students since the deferment could affect them psychologically and their academic performances.
All right, let's now go on to campus where Metro TV's Abdul Basit Suleiman is currently on the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He joins us. We're also told that Valentine Ishen, who is a deputy PRO for the Students Representative Council, KNUST, has also joined us via Zoom. Valentine, let's come to you first. You're welcome to Newsbeat. Good afternoon. Oh, no, come on, kindly unmute your mic. Your mic is muted.
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, great. I can hear you now. Good afternoon to you. So tell us what the current situation is now.
I'm sure as the news has unfolded, it's a fluid situation. So almost every minute, there's new information coming in. But as it stands now, currently, management and SRC has come to an agreement that if students can pay up to the 70% threshold, then they will automatically be reversed, as in the deferment, and so you'll be reinstated back on the system.
So there are some allegations that we're receiving on the part of the students of what you used your school fees for, claiming these allegations actually has it that some of you used your school fees to bet. Can you speak to this?
Honestly, I doubt that we can speak to it, and I've heard these allegations also. And I do not know the stats with which these people are speaking based on those allegations. But honestly, I feel it is a hasty generalization because genuinely there are people on grounds that need support, especially concerning the school fees, especially if you look at the way the economic situation is. If you consider wholesale prices, there's a whole lot of factors. So I believe it would be a bit hasty to generalize it and say that everybody is betting with their school fees, and that's how come we are in this situation.
So, and we're told that about, you say there's a 70% requirement of fees is required to, be made before you be allowed on campus. Are you making any efforts after these 6,000 students were withdrawn to raise that amount?
So as SRC, not year in, year out, we contribute to support people paying their school fees. We use the SRC KBN, that is the Kitso BRN, and then KNUST Belgium to support them. What happens is that students who genuinely have these concerns apply to the SRC and then the Dean of Students office, and then they go in for interviews, and then based on the interviews, certain students are shortlisted or are selected, and then their fees are paid to a certain amount. Now, this year, because of the situation, apart from that instance, what the SRC is doing is the SRC has committed, as of this morning, 50,000 Ghana cedis to support other students, especially within that 6,000 bracket who have been deferred, to help them pay their school fees and get reinstated in the school system so that academic work can continue for them.
And those 50,000 cedis will, make provision for how many students, in estimation?
So as of now, students have gone for interview. So we cannot be certain exactly what number that this 50,000 will be taken care of, because you have students where some have paid up to 50% and just need 20% to go up. We have situations where some have paid maybe 30%, and then we have where some have not paid at all. So that qualification is being made, that categorization is being made. When that categorization is hopefully done by, we will know exactly how many students that 50,000 can cater for.
How did you raise this amount?
The 50,000 comes from the SRC's office. So.
From the SRC's coffers?
Yes, please.
Okay, hold on there. Nana Kwekwe Yeboah is the Chief Executive Officer of the Students' Loan Trust Fund, as he joins us via phone for this conversation. Nana, thank you for your time. Welcome to News Beat. So the students at the KNUST claim they are unable to access loans from your office, hence their inability to pay their fees. Can you confirm this, and if it's not true, if it's true, why?
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon to your listeners. The 6,000 students, all of them are not on our portfolio. The students who are on our portfolio that did apply for the loan, who are the continuing students, from KNUST is 683, and we paid them 831,525 for the first semester. There are so it's not all this. A lot of the 6,000 are not on our portfolio, and maybe those who are like the freshers, the first time applying for, those with we have their biometrics. We're working on them. And that it was because we were amending the law from the guarantor to the no guarantor policy. It has to go through Parliament. Now it's become law. And the minister is working on working with us to find a solution to that. But a huge chunk of the 6,000 are not even on our portfolio.
Come again on that. The huge chunk of the 6,000 are not what?
Are not. They've not even applied for the loan, so they are not part of our portfolio.
Have you reviewed the names of that includes the 6,000, and you have been able? That's making you confirm that they don't. They have not made any attempt to apply.
We have school lists. Each institution we have school lists, and we know those who have applied for the loan. So the continuing students who have applied, we've paid them, and we continue to pay. the new applicant, we are looking at, paying them, but it's not like the entire 6,000 could not pay their fees because they didn't access their student loan. That is not accurate.
But you've made reference to the law that's being amended. Which part of the law is actually being amended? What are these elements and why is this slowing down?
Well, nothing is slowing down. The law is the no guarantor policy that the government realized that needy students accessing guarantors to access the loan was problematic. So Parliament has amended that portion. So going forward, a student will not need a guarantor to access the loan. All they will need is the Ghana card. That's what I was referring to. But that is not the cause why 6,000 students haven't paid their fees at KNUST.
Which is why you will need their biometrics to gather the details.
Yeah. We are operationalizing those we need to pay. But I'm saying that the entire 6,000 are not on our portfolio.
Exactly.
So we are going to do
so why do you say that it's a wrong assumption or a wrong comment or statement to make that they are not able to access? Because obviously, as you have confirmed, you've not been able to gather their biometric details or their ID cards, which is why they are not able to access. So it is actually true that they can't access because of some of these restrictions.
We can assume that. You don't have facts to support that the entire 6,000 are those who apply for the loan. You don't have figures to support that. What I'm saying is that it's not all the 6,000 students. It's not because most of them are not even on student loan portfolio.
What does it take to be on the student's loan portfolio?
What does it take?
Yes.
You have to be a Ghanaian, getting admission to accredited tertiary institution, and you have to apply. So some of the students don't apply for the loan.
And out of the 6,000 that you said you've reviewed the list and none of them is on your list that has applied for the loan, how many of them are foreigners?
I didn't say that. We don't have the list of the 6,000 students. And I'm telling you that all the what we have on our list is 683. Okay, that is the school list from KNUST, and we paid them all. The 6,000 you are referencing, we don't have the list, so we don't even know how many of them have applied for student loan. So we cannot conclude that the 6,000 did not pay their fees because they couldn't access student loan. We don't have that as a fact.
Right. Do I still have the SRC PRO? Valentin, okay, he's gone off. So, Nana Kweku, will your office make any efforts to reach out to the students? I know they have to reach out to you, but I mean, under the current situation, will you make any effort to try to assist?
As a matter of fact, the minister has called me and we are talking about it. So the minister, myself, will be at KNUST and talk to the school authorities, get the list, look at those who validly apply for the loan and those who haven't. Then we will come up with a solution to the problem.
Do we have the financial muscle?
Hmm?
Do we have the financial muscle?
Do we have the financial muscle?
Yes.
For 6,000 students? Yes, we do.
Great. Nice talking to you, sir. Nana Kweku Ajay is speaking for the Students' Loan Trust Fund. Now let's go on to the campus and speak with Metro TV's Abdul Basit Suleiman, who can tell us more what's happening on campus now. He's joined us via Zoom. Abdul, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you. So what's going on campus, if you can give us a picture?
Yeah, good afternoon, Annie, and good afternoon to our viewers. Yeah, as you rightly said, yesterday there was a story on the deferment of about 6,000 students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. As at this morning, I can confirm to you that there are a lot of students at the office of the Dean of the student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and are making payments of the debts that they owe the school. As at this morning, about 400 people have so far paid and registered their courses this morning. I just also spoke with the URO, and he also confirmed to me that yes, that is the situation, and a lot of people are making comments outside that the school is not sensitive to the plight of the students and so on and so forth. And he was shocked that about what they are saying, because including some politician, according to him, that the school's decision is somehow callous. It's not insensitive to the plight of the student. But he also confirmed to us that they have evidence to show that these students are not needy students who would be entertained. They are students who have gotten their school fees and have deliberately squandered them. As we rightly reported yesterday, some of them are doing a whole lot of businesses. And I spoke with some students who also confirmed to me that, yes, indeed, some of their colleagues are using their school fees. Even yesterday, someone used about 1,000 cedis to stick betting when Liverpool and Chelsea and Liverpool, Arsenal were playing yesterday. And the person is owing school fees over here. So the situation here is somehow dicey. The students have trooped into the office of the Dean of Students this morning and are making payments. So one will ask, so where was the money all this while, and they are now rushing to pay the money?
So these 1,200, you say, haven't paid their fees this morning. They paid in full?
Yes, others have crossed the 70% threshold. Others too have paid some portion that, according to the URO, when they realize that they are committed to pay, they will also take a decision to revert the deferment.
So how much fees? How much fees per student?
Come again.
How much fees is students paying?
Come again, Annie.
How much are they paying? How much are they? One student is expected to pay.
I think it depends on the courses that the students are registering. It depends, but as some of them are paying around 1,500, others are paying 1,200, others are paying depending on the courses that you register.
Oh, I see.
That's
so it differs from one student to the other. What kind of businesses? Okay, what kind of businesses are they into?
Some of the students are baking bread. When you get to the Aidiasi gate, others are have used the money to do this kind of pastries, and others too. Even some of the students confirmed to me that if they use the money to do business, their aim is to get more profit so that they were able to pay the school fees. So they are even appealing to school authorities that they should give them some grace period so that they will mobilize the money that they've used for what they are doing to come and pay the school fees.
Abdul Basit, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for the updates. Gather more information, we'll get back to you. Now let's do some more stories, still on school, but this time the Ghana School of Law, the management of the Ghana School of Law has constituted a committee to investigate alleged financial impropriety within the Students' Representative Council of the school. Now this follows several allegations of a conflict of interest in impropriety and financial mismanagement leveled against the SRC President Wanda Victor Kuto.
The management in a press release dated April 12, 2022 stated that it will probe the issues rigorously as it does not condone such actions. The committee comprises 3 members, namely Victoria Bath, Head of Faculty and Lecturer, Advocacy and Legal Ethics, Ghana School of Law, Moses Ansambano, Ankara Esquire, Deputy Director of Finance Budget, Judicial Service of Ghana, and Justice Anthony Eduhene, retired. These members are to conduct thorough investigations into the substantive matter and anything concerning the SRC and submit findings and recommendations to the management for implementation. Students have, however, been asked to assist with any information that is imperative to the investigations. The SRC president of the school has, among other things, been accused of buying a car for the SRC from his company and another one for his personal use under questionable circumstances. Wanda Victor Kuto is also said to be running an SRC-owned mobile money business with his company name and diverting proceeds from the business for his own personal use. The Executive Council of the SRC queried the president but said they are not convinced with his answers, hence has constituted a committee to investigate the matter.
SRC president of the Accra College of Education says the trainees are completely against the scrapping of the allowance. In an interview with Edward Che Jamra, justified the need for the allowances, saying this is a specialized form of training and that amounts given to them by the government, although inadequate, is used to cater for their educational needs.
Our policy was by Ghana's first to serve as an into the
Apologize for the poor tape there. Now let's go for a quick breather. When we come back, we'll give you some more stories. Welcome back to Newsbeat on Metro TV. Let's do some more stories. And the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Yao Ba, has bemoaned the suffering workers have had to endure in the recent economic crisis. According to him, employers in the country, including government, must begin to give workers what is due them, adding they will not accept the Ukraine-Russia war or COVID as an excuse to longer suffering.
So what is happening is that quality of work is going down. Work which is supposed to be decent is being made indecent. Comrades, our jobs are online. If you are not going to be sacked, they are going to either change your contract to fixed term or contract worker. If you are in the public service, you may not suffer this. But because they are not even giving you the tools to work, the quality of your job has gone down or will go down. And it is for all of us to address this. So these are the few issues I wanted to raise about jobs. And as I said, Kwabena will give us the details. Let me shift towards income. And that is where I'm very, very sad about our conditions in this country now as workers. We are all aware of the inflation, especially since last year. Look at what has happened to our exchange rate, the exchange rate of the cedi. Look at the increase in salary that we got last year. These three, inflation, exchange rate, and the low rate of pay increase, have combined to really rape us of all what we have gained in the last several years. And this is the time to address that. If you look at the inflation figures, you'll be very sad. And the Ghana Statistical Service has just released the inflation for March. And when I looked at it, inflation for March was 19.4%. When we were negotiating minimum wage and single span base pay in July 2021, inflation was 9%. Today, inflation is 19.4%. What has happened to the value of our money. It is completely eroded. But that is not all. If you look at the most important thing in the consumer price index, which is food, food price has gone up on average by 22.4%. And this is when they gave us 4% for last year and 7% for this year. Those of you who have time, you can look at the index. I got the bulletin only yesterday. And you can see that even in some regions, the inflation has gone to 23%. Unfortunately, that is my region, Bravo region. Inflation in northern region is 22%. Inflation in Greater Accra region is 21.7%. From there, you have 20% going down to 12.5% in Upper East. So you can see the regional inflation higher than the average. And as I said, the things that have been affected most include food, which is something that, keeps us going. That's the source of our energy. The other item that has suffered in terms of inflation is housing, water, electricity, gas, and fuels. 21.4% increase. If you look at transport, the increase is 27.6%. And again, I want to emphasize, within the context that we were giving 4% for public sector workers and 7% this year. If you look at cereals, the price has gone up on average by 25%.
Now, members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association Ghana have issued notice threatening to embark on a strike action on April 21, 2022, which is today. The strike is to press home their demands for their neutrality allowance. Now, the group in a statement said they have notified the National Labour Commission Civil Service Council with copies of the Senior Presidential Advisor, Minister of National Security and Minister of Employment and Labour Relations. So, on the back of the threats by the civil and local government service staff to embark on a strike if government fails to pay their political neutrality allowance, let's get onto the phone and speak to Dr. Kwejo Opoku, a research fellow at the Center for Social Policy Studies at the University of Ghana. Mr. Opoku, thank you so much for your time. Help us understand exactly how this neutrality allowance is based on.
Okay, thank you very much. And good afternoon to your viewers and your listeners. So I think in the Constitution, we are the civil servants and the local government officers are expected to be neutral. They are not supposed to join politics.
Yes, I'm listening, sir. Hello, sir.
For them to join politics or be doing things whilst in their office, which is politically oriented. But in many of these, allowances are usually given for a specific purpose. So, for example, transportational allowance, health allowance. But in this case, many of these allowances are introduced as a result of demand for increase in wage or salaries. And governments usually do this because they don't want other labor fronts to come in with once they hit the demand of these organizations, for example, CROSAC. They don't want, if, for example, they increase their basic wage or their basic salary, it means that other labor front can come with the same demand because they are in the same economy. So in order to avoid that, then they create this kind of allowances. That's in many reasons. It doesn't. Why? Because before you join the civil service or local government agency, you knew that it is you have to be politically neutral. So it doesn't demand you to be given any allowance for that. But actually, it's created not for allowance per se, but just to increase wage as the people demand wage increase. But in order to avoid other labor fronts demanding the same thing, then they create this kind of specific allowance so that other labor forms will not be demanded. And so I think these are the basis of why many allowances. So if you look at other labor forms, you'll be seeing a lot of these kind of names attached to certain allowance. Usually the main purpose is that we want our salary to increase, but government avoid this by introducing these allowances.
There's a difficulty at the labor front because, first of all, government increments in salary was 4%, we had 7%, and which was obviously complained as being woefully inadequate. And so other allowances, the public service will definitely make sure they collect it by hook or crook. But this neutrality allowance, has it not outlived its usefulness?
No, so that's what I'm saying, that the basic wage and the salary itself is low, I mean, in Ghana. And so usually if your labor front, that is this specific, which is CLOSAC, I think maybe they are strong, they were able to demand. So the main aim is that increase our wage. Things are difficult, increase our wage. But government doesn't want to say that I'm increasing wages of workers, the entire public service workers, by let's say 50% or 20%. In that case, the will be very high. So to avoid that, they use this kind of creation of specific allowance that other labor funds cannot demand. You know that teachers cannot demand this kind of allowance because they say it is neutrality allowance. So teachers may not be able to demand. Many other labor funds like doctors cannot or nurses cannot demand this kind of allowance. So they do this specific allowance so that other labor funds will not be able to demand that. So it's not like the purpose is not about, you can name it anyway. The aim of the labor fund COSAC is that increase our wage. So whatever name you give to it, but they give this name so that other labor fund doctors cannot demand for this allowance. So you cannot say it is outlived, this usefulness it outlived. The main purpose for CLOSAC, their aim is that our wage should increase. So it's the government that usually try to use this kind of names so that other labor funds will not demand the same thing.
Do we have this practice, maybe by your expertise, a policy analyst, you can tell us, do we have this practice in any other country or maybe a similar country as Ghana, developing country?
I have not seen it anywhere, but I think even in Ghana, if you were to look at other labor funds, you will be seeing a lot of these funny names for specific allowances that the government is giving. So I believe that you'll be seeing, even in Ghana here, if you go to doctors and nurses, you may be seeing some of these kind of allowances.
All right, so you say that this allowance has not outlived its usefulness, considering what goes on within the remuneration system. However, do you think that it's about time government sits and group all these allowances and review them?
Yes, so I think that
because in any case, oftentimes we do not get productivity as the nation also requests or demands.
That's true. So that is remuneration versus productivity is very important aspect that we need to consider. And also, we also know that the compensation itself, given all these kind of allowances, actually it doesn't provide the perspective for us to know how much people actually earn. Because when you ask them, it is the basic wage that they are going to quote to you. But actually, they are not of the allowances. So it is better for us to add them all together so that we will get the comprehensive amount as you are talking about. But of course, as I said, I said before, the aim is that we don't own all the labor front. If you increase wage by say 50%, it means everybody is getting it. So these allowances are used just to exclude other people. The aim is that increase the wage rate, but they don't want to do that for everybody. So that's That's the reason why you find all these kind of allowances in the system.
Right, Dr. Kojopoku, a research fellow at the Center for Social Policy Studies at the University of Ghana. Thanks for speaking to us here on Newsbeat. Now let's give you some updates of a trending social media story that's been going on for some days now, in fact, since last year. 3 citizens, Isifu Seidu, Kudus Bedese, Elikem Kotoko, and Stephen Kwabena Atu, have petitioned Parliament to commence impeachment proceedings against the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, over allegations made by Miss Evelyn Edu, alias Sewa Bruni, to the effect that the President used national security operatives to stage armed robbery attack on her to retrieve gadgets purported to contain some nude pictures on her phone. Now, according to the 3, the allegations, if proven to be true, would amount to human rights abuse, abuse of office, exposing the security of Ghana to external threat, as well as dragging the name of the high office of the President into disrepute. The 3 in their petition indicated that they draw their motivation from for the petition from Article 41, Clause A, Clause B, and Clause F of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to uphold and defend the Constitution. They further stated that their petition that they believe the allegations leveled against the President in her publications and subsequent interview on Loud Silent TV hosted by Kevin Ekobedi Taylor over the weekend established sufficient grounds for the invocation of Article 69 Clause 1 of the Constitution 1992. Ms. Evelyn Edu Sewa Bruni alleged, among other things, that she had some intimate relationship with the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, which subsequently led to threats on her life, including the use of Mr. Hope Singh Adoye, who was then the Deputy National Security Coordinator in charge of the airport, and other national security operatives to stage an armed robbery attack on her in order to retrieve evidence of the said encounter with the President from her phone and other electronic gadgets. According to her, the incident left her traumatized, which, if proven to be true, would amount to a breach of the oath of office of President. The 3 called on Parliament to launch an inquiry into the allegations and, if proven to be true, commence impeachment proceedings against the President. So, well, the full petition is also there. I'm sure you had it on your screen. And that's the updates that we've had from Parliament. You're also watching Newsbeat here on Metro TV. We'll go for a breather. We're still on as Newsbeat, and Winston Taki is standing by to give us the updates in the business world. Winston?
Hello, Annie. All right, it's time to bring you business right after this. Now we'll bring you an update from the released by the Ghana Statistical Service that inflation, mostly the gross domestic product, has increased by 5.4%. But we are joined on Zoom by economists and also president of the Initiative for African Development. Good afternoon. Welcome to Newsbeat. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Winston.
Great, Daniel. In simple terms, what does it mean to say that Ghana recorded a 5.4% GDP growth in 2021, and what is its impact on individuals and businesses?
Yeah, thank you very much. Anytime we say the economy is growing or the GDP has grown to a certain rate, what it means is that we looking at the contribution of the real sectors of the economy, that is agri, industry and manufacturing, and then putting it overall output together, and that gives us the GDP growth. So what it means is that the contribution of agri plus the contribution of industry plus the contribution of services putting together, that gives us the GDP growth rate. So its implication is that once your economy is growing, what it means is that these three sectors that I have mentioned are growing. And once they are growing, it means that opportunities are in the economy, or so to speak, the economy is creating opportunity, and it's creating kind of opportunities for the citizens to exploit, or the economy is in a position to be able to take care of its citizens in a manner that it will improve their living standards. So basically, that is what it means when your economy is growing. But however, there's a caution. If a GDP rate is growing, it doesn't mean that automatically it may have implication on the livelihood of the citizens. The reason is that you need to do a sectorial analysis and find out where is the growth coming from. Is the growth coming from an area where the economy have a competitive edge, and for that matter, it may have positive or resultant impact on the livelihood of the citizens. So you may have a country where the GDP growth is high, or the GDP is growing, yet the livelihood of the citizens, it will not reflect positively on the livelihood of the citizens. So these are some of the issue. Anytime we say economy is growing, but on the surface or on paper, basically it means is that all the rest sectors are growing and they are contributing positively to the overall welfare of the citizens.
For the first time, it appears that the agri sector recorded the highest rate of 8.2%, followed by the service sector. What could be accountable for such a shift?
If you recall, even during the peak of the pandemic, 2020, where the whole economy has even contracted, it was the agri sector that recorded a positive figure, and it was actually linked to the policy of planting for food and jobs. And it, again, this background, that some of us, we are calling for expansion of that program, more investment into that program, so that we can beef up our food availability and food security and sustainability. So to answer you, I think the growth predominantly, you know, if you look at the data turned out by the Ghana Statistical Service, it came from fishing and it came from crops as well as cocoa. So these were the drivers of the growth that we experienced from the agri sector.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel Nim. Daniel Nim is the president for the Policy Initiative for Africa Development. Now to other story. The Bank of Ghana has been collaborating with the Financial Intelligence Center to weed out unscrupulous people engaged in fraudulent investment schemes. Speaking on the sidelines of a public lecture on warding off fraudulent investment schemes in Ghana, the Director of Financial Stability, Dr. Joseph Franz, stressed the need for the public to be educated on these activities.
UOG has been collaborating with the Financial Intelligence Center, the institution that is actually authorized to go into money laundering and terrorist activities and so on. So all the regulated institutions actually work with the Financial Intelligence Center. And one of the issues that we do is to just sensitize the public, for the public to know. I keep saying that the consumer is the first line of defense when it comes to protecting your assets, when it comes to warding off fraudulent activities. So once you get to know, once we sensitize you, you get to know what is out there and what the fraudster can do, then you prevent the fraudster from defrauding you. You drive the activities of the fraudsters.
That's all for business here on Newsbeat. My name is Winston Taki.
That's all we have for you this afternoon. The news came to you live from the Akea Boahima studio at North Ridge. We're back at 4 for News Flash and at 7 with News Nice. Thanks for watching.